All right, we are here for round 3 against our opponent, Prison Warden. We won the die roll, so we're going to play first. This is a first turn hollowed one, so we will definitely keep it. We're going to start off by cycling both our Street Wraiths. We get a Bloodghast. We will play the Scalding Tarn for a Mountain, and we'll play Faithless Looting. We will pitch the Bloodghast and I think one of the Flameblade Adepts, and cast our Hollow one for free. Cool deck, right? See if our opponent's got a removal spell. Opponent is a Ghost Quarter, playing Codex Shredder. So our opponent is on Lantern Control, which is a miserable deck to play against. We basically need to try to kill him or get him into burn range before he gets to an Ensnaring Bridge. He's going to look at our top card, decide if he wants to Codex Shred it. We get another Bloodghast. We will play our Blood Crypt tapped, although we're not really worried about our life total. And we're going to play our Flameblade Warden, or Flameblade Adept, excuse me. Fortunately for us, him milling us with Codex Shredder is kind of helping our deck. So we'll get across with our Hollow one, but it goes to 16, and we will pass the turn to him. And plays a Swamp, gets a Pyxis of Pandemonium, and another Codex Shredder. We get a Flamewake Phoenix. Would have liked to have drawn a land there so we could cast our Faithless Looting, but I think we're fine. We're going to go ahead and just attack him for 7. Brings him down to 9. Opponent uses his mill cards here. Puts a Bloodghast in the graveyard for us. Thanks, opponent. Of course, we need to draw land in order to make that useful. He gets a Blooming Marsh. Could have a Abrupt Decay here. Opponent is going to Ghost Quarter our Blood Crypt. We'll go ahead and float a red mana. We'll use the Ghost Quarter ability, get a Swamp. I think we're just going to use that mana to Lightning Bolt him at end of turn. Oh, of course he gets us a Bloodghast back. Thank you, opponent. He's so nice, helping us with our card. We'll go ahead and Lightning Bolt him. And let's see. Opponent is looking like he's dead unless he's got some solid removal spells here. He's going to Codex Shred us. Puts a Hollowed one in the graveyard. Going to Codex Shred us again. Puts a Blood Crypt in the graveyard. And opponent concedes the match. So we will go to sideboarding. We're going to bring in pretty mostly all of our graveyard hate. Or not our graveyard hate, our artifact hate. That makes more sense. So we'll get our Ancient Grudges and our Destructive Revelries. That does mean that we need to prioritize fetching that Stomping Ground at some point. Don't think we need the Called in the Netherworld. Don't think we need quite as much burn. Actually, that's not true. If he gets to an Ensnaring Bridge, that's going to be difficult for us to attack through. I think we'll cut... It's either Flameblade Adept or Fiery Temper. I could just cut 2 of each. Maybe that's the right play. Just kind of hedge our bets a little bit and just have a little bit of everything. That's probably not the right way to sideboard here, but I think that's the way we'll do it. So we will go ahead and submit. Opponent's going to play first, I think. This is a pretty mediocre hand, but we do have an Ancient Grudge. We don't have the ability to flash it back, but we do have an Ancient Grudge. We also have potentially a quick Gurmag Angler, so I guess we'll keep this. Then is a Blooming Marsh, possibly a discard spell here. Nope, has a Mishra's Bauble first. Could still have a discard spell. It does play a Codex Shredder. Now, he did not play a Lantern of Insight, which either means that he was prioritizing it. I can't imagine prioritizing it under a Mishra's Bauble under a Codex Shredder. So Burning Inquiry could actually draw him into what he needs. So I think I'm not going to cast Burning Inquiry this turn, and I'm just going to pass. Opponent shreds up a Destructive Revelry. Opponent is playing Surgical Extraction on our Destructive Revelry. Not bad. Not a bad choice. Gets all of our Destructive Revelries out of our deck. It's definitely one of our cards that hurts him the most. We do still have this Ancient Grudge in hand, though. Opponent is down to 3 cards, though. He had a mulligan a lot. Opponent plays a Ghost Quarter. He's going to Ghost Quarter our Blood Crypt. We're kind of fine with that. We'll go ahead and get a Mountain. Now the opponent has a Lantern of Insight. We have a Bloodghast coming up on our turn. So what we're going to do, I think, is play the Swamp. And we're going to Cathartic Reunion, discarding our Bloodghast and the Burning Inquiry. He's going to Shred us, which is going to net us a Street Wraith. Now we have a Swamp on top, so we're definitely not going to use the Street Wraith. So we will just pass the turn. We could have Ancient Grudged his Lantern of Insight there, but I think what we want to do is Ancient Grudge a Ensnaring Bridge if we can. I'm gonna expand our graveyard here because I feel like more stuff is going to be ending up in our graveyard pretty soon. He's shredding another land. Flamewake Phoenix is a pretty good draw. Let's see here. We now have the ability to... we don't want to quite... Gurmag Angler yet, I don't think. I think what we're going to do is Blood Crypt, get our Blood Gas back, and then we will Flamewake Phoenix, and we will attack him. When it's at 16, we'll pass the turn. And it is going to Ghoul-Caller's Bellis, putting more yet food in the graveyard. I imagine he's got some sort of graveyard hate, though. Possibly a Leyline of the Void, or like a Relic of Progenitus or something. Opponent's going to start gaining life off his Defender's Fair, however. We have a Flameblade Adept on top of our library. He draws a Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize could potentially take our Ancient Grudge, which would prevent us from being able to cast it, because now at this point, he's not going to let us get green mana. Does get our Ancient Grudge. He Ghoul-Caller Bells our Flameblade Adept. Going to let us draw a Lightning Bolt. I think that's kind of a mistake. We would rather have a Lightning Bolt than our Flameblade Adept at this point. So what we're going to do is attack. And then we're going to play our Gurmag Angler. And... got this Academy Ruins coming in. Yeah, we'll just pass the turn. Hopefully that's enough. You can also save this Street Wraith to draw a green mana spell, like a Stomping Ground or a Fetch Land. There's the Ensnaring Bridge. Opponent is casting Ensnaring Bridge. So now we need to get to a green mana. There's a Faithless Looting. We are going to Burning Inquiry. Opponent is debating if he wants to mill us first. We did not get to a land, so I think we are going to cast our street, or cycle our Street Wraith. We're going to play our Faithless Looting. Opponent's going to mill us. We do hit our fetch land, so we're going to pitch the Bloodghast and the Flamewake Phoenix. We're going to play the Bloodstained Mire, get both of our Bloodghast. We would have liked to have Lightning Bolted him first, because this way our Bloodghast would get haste, but too many things in the way now. We're going to sack our Bloodstained Mire, get our Stomping Ground. We are going to Ancient Grudge, the Ensnaring Bridge, and now we're going to get to attack for a lot. In fact, we're going to get to attack for 9, which will put him at 3 life. Which is exactly enough for this Lightning Bolt. So if he doesn't have a discard spell plus Ensnaring Bridge, that means we're going to have him next turn. Oh no, that's not true. He has his Inventor's Fair, so he is going to gain a life. Opponent is going to shred us. Opponent is at 3. Unfortunately, we do not have the red mana to finish him off. We could have cast that Gurmag Angler there off their swamp, but I don't think that's necessary. He does get an Ancient Stirrings this turn, which is going to hopefully dig him into another Ensnaring Bridge. He had an Ensnaring Bridge on top, but he shuffled it. Basically using his mill here to mill himself so he can dig closer down through his deck to try to get to the Ensnaring Bridge. He does have Leylines of the Void, it looks like. See what our opponent gets. So the opponent did not find an answer, which means he is going to concede to us. We're going to extend to him a handshake, because that was a good game. We beat Ensnaring Bridge, which is nice. We beat Lantern Control, which is a miserable deck to play against. But I'm glad we beat it. So we are now currently 2-1 in this league. So we'll see you in round 4.